Are you guys ready to learn your ABGs? It's gonna be as easy as ABC. Okay, that was really corny, but I couldn't resist doing it. So this is the ABG video I did promise you guys. I am breaking it up into a couple different videos. This is going to be part one. I'm going to be focusing mainly on ventilation. I'm doing that because I'm trying to get to the bare bones of ABGs just to make it simple, and I want to keep my videos under 15 minutes, so hence part one. I do want to warn you before I start talking about it is that you should always fact check anything you see on the internet. You just want to know if, the normal values are right and if what the person is saying is correct. You don't want to go into a hospital with, the wrong mentality. Who knows? I could be totally lying to you guys and whatever. I mean, I'm not, but you don't know that. Anyway, that was just my short disclaimer. Always fact check. So, getting into ventilation. So, usually ABGs come with 5 major values that we look at. It comes with the pH, the CO2, the bicarb, the oxygen, and it also comes with base excess. For simplicity of this video, I am going to be focusing on only 3 of them. The pH, the CO2, and the bicarb. So when I see the pH, I always think of it saying, what am I and who matches me? So this is important because it basically is your gold standard. We want a normal pH. If it's not normal, we need to ask, what is it? Is it acidotic? Is it alkalotic? Because that's going to be telling us the main name of our blood gas. Is it, I'll get into more of that right now. Next, I need to think in my head, okay, is this an acute problem? Is this going to be in the lungs? Is the body metabolizing this issue? So if it's in the lungs, it's usually shown in the carbon dioxide. So that's respiratory. So that's another part of the name for our blood gas that we need. So if the pH is alkalotic and the CO2 is alkalotic, it's going to be respiratory alkalosis. I hope that makes sense. I'm trying to move fast just so this can be a short video, but I do want you guys to understand. So if it's an acute problem, it's usually going to be the CO2 in the lungs. So think about it. The first thing that comes in to our body is the air through our lungs. And then if it's metabolized, then it goes to our kidneys. So it's metabolic. So if it gets into the bicarb and if it's metabolized through the body into the kidneys, then it's more of a chronic problem. So this is how we can tell the severity of someone's condition. Usually you'll see, someone with COPD or something, they have metabolic issues. Their numbers will be out of whack, but maybe their pH will still be good. So that's something we just have to think about. What am I? What is the pH? Who matches it? Does the bicarb match it or does the CO2 match it? Is the pH acidotic and is the bicarb acidotic? Is it metabolic acidosis? So that's what we're looking for, okay? So to move on, we do need to know the normal values to determine who matches it and what is pH. So I did highlight pH. So pH is our gold standard. We want that to be in the normal range at all times. Normal pH means that the patient is doing well. So we need that pH to be in 7.35 to 7.45. That's the normal values. Okay, so I don't care if the other 2 numbers on this page, if they're out of whack, we always want the pH to be normal. Okay, so if it is not normal and if it's a little low, then it's going to be acidotic. If it's higher, it's going to be alkalotic. So I like to color code. So blue, I think of alkalotic as alkaline water, so I put blue. Acid, I usually think of yellow, but yellow is hard to see, so green is the closest. Acid, and I see this zigzag pattern between the normal ranges, so I always keep this visually in my head. I always write this in the same order so I can have that zigzag pattern. It's kind of a snapshot into doing a blood gas in your head as quickly as possible for myself. This might not work for you. You might need to find a new way or a new method for you to do it. These are the normal values. I do like to see that the carbon dioxide normal values are basically the same. You just cover the 7 and the decimal, and you have the normal value for carbon dioxide. You do need to remember the bicarb. It's 22 to 26. Some places say 28. Just see what your book says. So know your normal values. Look for the pattern. Who it matches. Does the pH and the bicarb, are they both acid? Are they both lower? Or is it the pH is lower and then the carbon dioxide is high? So do those match? These are the kind of questions that you want to ask so you can determine what your blood gas is. I'm going to show you some examples. For simplicity reasons, I took out the numbers because you might not know know them by heart. So I just am using arrows and I color coded it. So going to this first one, you see the pH is lower and all the arrows are lower. So you're going to say the pH is low, so it's acidotic. I color coded it again, and you can see I put the little zigzag here. Low pH, acidotic. And then the carbon dioxide is low, so it's alkalotic. And then the bicarb is low, so acidotic again. So what is the pH? It's acidotic. Who matches it? The bicarb. So this is going to be metabolic acidosis. Okay, the pH is higher, so it's going to be alkalotic. CO2 is high, it's going to be acidotic. And then the bicarb is high, alkalotic. So who is the pH? It's alkalotic. Who does it match? It matches bicarb. So it's metabolic alkalosis. Another example, the pH is low, so acidotic again. Carbon dioxide is high. Acidotic. And the carbon dioxide is high, it's acidotic. The bicarb is high, so it's alkalotic. So what is this going to be? It's going to be respiratory acidosis. Last example that I have, pH is high, so it's alkalotic. The CO2 is low, so it's alkalotic. The bicarb is low, so it's acidotic. What is this? Respiratory, because it matches with the CO2. Alkalosis. So, I hope this helps you understand the basics of ventilation